Hi, and welcome everyone to week 3. Can you believe it? The month is almost half over. And I'm hoping that all of our tips and suggestions have been helping you to be able to take just a little bit of time for yourself every day. So, week three's, our focus this week is going to be on creating balance and boundaries. Because there's one thing about, yes, we probably all realize we need to create better balance within our lives, be it our time, what we're eating, what we're doing, who we're with, all of that sort of thing. But a lot of times it's really challenging to set boundaries. Because the one thing that I know with myself, it's too easy to say yes. And it's hard to really think that no is a complete sentence. And so those are things that we really need to get better at because it's hard if we don't. So this week, we're going to be focusing on the creating the balance and the boundaries, and we will have a lot of different suggestions that don't have to take much of your time. And so, Cynthia, tell us what you're going to be doing this week.
Well, Kathy, I'm going to be talking about boundaries, and it's actually a topic that we don't hear a lot about really in Christianity for sure. And specifically, we as women, we give and we give and we give and we give and we leave so little for ourselves. And sometimes what happens is we've given, we don't even have any time for the Lord, right? And so it's so healthy for us to establish boundaries. And how do I know this? Of course, always what I'm going to go back to is the Bible, because God, even from the very beginning, gave people boundaries. He said, "This is your land. It goes from here to here to here to here." And he even gave the tribes within that land. He said, "Now this is your portion within the land." And so much of the time, we're trying to help people in areas that are really not necessary for us to be involved with, and we're expected a lot of times to fulfill things that aren't really ours to fulfill, and we get overextended, and that was never God's plan. So we're not taught the value of having boundaries and how to establish them and how to keep them. And this is a great time this month to review with the Lord where you may need to beef up an area, right? A place where you might need to say a few no's, and maybe even some areas in which you've maybe never had a boundary before and you need to put some boundaries up, because this month we are talking about self-care and self-love, and you cannot help others if you're not healthy yourself. And so those are the topics in which I'm going to be discussing this week, and I can't wait to hear what you're going to be sharing, Kathy.
Thank you, Cynthia. I'm excited in your group, She Blooms group, to be able to be getting all of Cynthia's, information, and that in my group we're going to be able to share a lot of tips because, like I said earlier, boundaries are important, and both Cynthia and I agree that it's really challenging, but it's a big part of self-love and self-care. A lot of times we just think of self-care as doing our nails or pedicure, stuff like that. It has to be more than that. That's pretty superficial. Yes, it can be a nice treat, but it's not what we really need all the time. And boundaries and balance in our life, be it what we're eating, what we're doing, all of that is so important. And a subject, like Cynthia said, we rarely speak about. So we're looking forward to week 3. Make sure, I think some of you are going to have some questions during this week, or at least I hope so. So don't be afraid to ask, and we are excited to be here on week 3 sharing your and our struggles and our successes with creating balance and boundaries in our lives. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.